Hello, everyone. Steam's
Hello.
Fridays. Friday time. Woo!
Yes.
Happy Friday.
Feel the energy? You feel the energy? I'm trying to blast energy to the universe via a bunch of ones and zeros going down cables.
I was doing some fist pumping to the opening music, but I don't think
Yes,
anyone.
trying to rave it up all up in this censored for family show reasons. Hi, Mo.
Hey, how you guys doing? You okay?
Yeah, good. You?
Yes, so good. I was in the same boat as you, Martin. When the intro was kicking in, I was getting proper retro vibes, and I want to get out my Sega Mega Drive and my Nintendo again.
So Mo, that you're exactly right. So you don't know this, but I wrote that music in like 1994.
Wow.
So when you're throwing out like Sega retro vibes, that's it. And then based off that, just the whole intro and everything, I'm like, we're going 80s, 90s arcade. The little generic, terrible universe picture as our background.
Hey, it was the best era though, right?
For me, yeah. It didn't suck. But everything started sucking after about 95. Then got good again about 2010.
I've just been trying to rewatch some like 80s, 90s movies. Yesterday, Demolition Man. Didn't know that was done in the.
Who's Demolition Man?
Let's see, this is how much I don't know. Who is
Mr. Stallone?
Yes.
Was it Stallone?
The Rocky guy.
All right.
The Rocky guy.
Yeah. So, Mo, hi. Who are you?
So, yeah. Hi, who am I? So I'm known by many names, but everyone knows me in the industry as Mo. I am a partner technology strategist, quite a mouthful. So I look after Teams rooms from a pre-sales technical perspective for all of EMEA, including the Middle Eastern region. So good fun out there. Been with Microsoft just gone 3 years now. So I joined at the very, very beginning of the journey of Microsoft Teams rooms, back when there were still only like 4 of us globally. So me, my colleague Rob Carlson, Justin Slane, and Susanna back then. Joined the company, went out to Seattle. Soon as I got back from Seattle, it was lockdown. So tasked with trying to sell Microsoft Teams rooms during COVID. And yeah, strangely, I think we did a pretty good job in that.
Yeah, a lot of people within Microsoft and externally as well. That's during that era. I'm like, oh, OBS, I've heard of it. What do you do with it? And then how do you use NDI? And all these things entered our world during COVID lockdown, selling Teams rooms. Real quick, I just want to answer to Josh Starkey. Fruity Loops didn't exist, I don't think, when I wrote that music. It was an Emu Orbit using Cakewalk software. Anyway, so yeah. So did you jump on OBS, or how did you do the sales in lockdown?
I dabbled with OBS, but I didn't. We had the laptop shutdown, so I didn't really have the best kit to use OBS. But literally, Teams was evolving like crazy, right? And I think that's literally selling Teams rooms over Teams, and people just wanted it. People were, super excited about, hey, look, we're already working from home now, and we just need to get on it and just get, start using Teams. And yeah, weirdly, was selling devices without physically showing devices, but showing videos and talking about it. And I don't know how we done it, but we did it. Thanks to everybody that's on the call, right?
I'm kind of in the same thing working for Jabra. I'm trying to sell video cameras without going to someone's life. Like, it works okay because you can see me. This is a Jabra 20 P20. I'm not trying to wave it off P20, but it's these like this wall of P50s behind me. Those are the ones we're trying to move. And same basic concept is, how do you give the feeling of what is this going to look like in my conference room without me or even you being in a conference room? So the challenge still exists because for some reason companies don't want us to travel 300 days a year. So with a Pelican case of our devices and it being a full team MTR or just a camera, speaker, microphone. So
yeah,
good time.
See, the funny thing is, I mean, the way I look at it is, over the last 3 years or so, we've all got so used to working from home and having kind of great experiences using desktop, right? Using your webcam, using a nice large screen and seeing everyone's faces instead of seeing like rooms. We're seeing people's faces, and we're just so used to kind of that sort of format now. And that's why I see it being a lot more easy, and that's where people want to get the same experience when they move back into the office. I don't know about you guys, but when the lockdown started ending and I started going back into the office. The experience wasn't the same. You see the whole room full of 10 tiny little people with 10 tiny little heads and couldn't figure out who was who, right? And I'm like, I just want to sit in front of my PC in my shorts again, and just have a great experience. So there we go.
Always wearing short. You got Crocs on as well.
Well, they're right next to me.
Crocs.
Sure, I'll put the Crocs on.
But yeah, that experience, that's key, right?
Hey, Mo, Lars wants to know, where are your kids today?
They are with the missus. I kind of said to her, I was like, hey, look, I'm doing a live stream. You got to keep them quiet. So I don't know what she's doing, but they're quiet at the moment and they're locked away. But my house is full of kids right now. It's half-term week, which means it's a holiday for everyone here in the UK. So in the other room, there's like 4 other kids. My sister decided to drop all the kids off. One of the twins is asleep. The other one's awake, messing about. But at the moment, don't jinx me. It's peaceful right now. And if I start going on mute, you'll know why.
And how many kids do you have, and which one do you like best?
So I have 4 kids. Let me tell you the story, right?
All right.
I've got an 8-year-old boy, my pride and joy. I've got a 6-year-old daughter, love her to bits as well. And I was like to the missus, I said to the missus, one more would be nice. A family of 5 would be good.
Oh.
One more would be good. And I'll get a
basketball
nice
team. Yeah.
All of a sudden, we go to the hospital to have the first scan, and looking at the blobs on screen, and I'm like, hold on, that looks like 2. And the midwife looks up and looks back down on her console, and she's like, yeah, congratulations. I'll tell you something, Michael Martin. I went through every single emotion. First, I was like, yeah, twins. Never had twins in my family. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to sell the car. I'm going to have to buy a van and the house. And, I started
then, like rage and murder. I'm going to have to sacrifice the older one to provide food for the younger ones.
I know, right? It was like a 2-for-1 offer. So, but I feel blessed. It's amazing. I get no sleep. I have vomit on my shoulder all the time. But it's
how old are the twins?
So the twins were actually premature when they were born. So they are 6 months right now, but 4 months if you kind of correct the date and stuff. But they're starting to get little personalities and things, and smiling and stuff. So it's getting fun now. It's getting fun.
Then you're definitely, your life is essentially selling teams rooms and raising kids, and that's it.
Yes.
You don't even have time to work on the next kid, do you? There's just no opportunity.
Oh, no more. No, I can't do any more kids. I mean, I had to. The car. My partner was like, "Are you excited about the twins?" And I was like, "Yeah, but what about the car?" She was like, "All you're thinking about is the car," because I had a Tesla Model S, and I was like, "I'm not going to put a 6 in there." But I managed to talk her into a Tesla Model X, which is the 6-seat version.
There you go.
Open doors and stuff. So yeah, amazing.
Oh, good. Matt Bailey thought you smelled a bit funky at ISE. I guess that explains you can only wash you can put the shirt in the wash, but some things just don't come out. There's some things just the stain doesn't come out or the smell.
Matthew, keep laughing. I'm praying that you're going to have twins as well, right? So yeah, let's go for it.
I don't need twins, I'm afraid.
So speaking of, you saw Matt at ISE. You were at ISE. You got to interview, was it Kruthika or Sandhya, right?
Sandhya. Yeah.
So tell me about ISE. Tell me what you learned from Sandhya. Tell me what just kind of your impressions of ISE.
Hey, ISE was amazing. First off, I have to do a little complaint. Last year's ISE, Barcelona was in May time. So
and I was there, so that made it instantly better. This time it wasn't.
It was great weather, right? Really good weather, and it was free in the UK. And this year, my partner was like, "Hey, you're going to Barcelona. You're going to love it." And I was like, "I don't even know what to pack because I don't know what the temperature is going to be like." It was cold. I was shivering. I'm a tropical guy, right? So it was pretty cold. So that's the one downside. But ISE was amazing. It was great to get out there, see everybody's faces again. I felt like it was going back to like how the normal ISE used to be back in Amsterdam.
Cold.
Yes, cold
That's
as
where
well.
We first met at ISE Amsterdam, and it was a cold, rainy week.
Yes.
Was your first week?
It was, yeah. Literally, I just joined, and 2 days later, I flew out to Amsterdam.
Okay, got it. Which then ties into you go to Seattle. COVID. I went Seattle to Amsterdam, and then Amsterdam to home to shut down.
I did the other way around. Amsterdam first, Seattle, and then that was it, lockdown.
Yep.
But it felt like the old kind of ISE over in Amsterdam, and I was a little apprehensive because the Microsoft stand, as big as it was and as great as it looked, we had no products. We were like, we're not going to do any products. We're going to do theater sessions. We're going to talk about different things around Teams rooms, bite-sized elements. But all the partners, all of our wonderful OEM partners out there will have kind of product on there. Getting out there and seeing how many stands, even partners we've never spoken to, really embracing Teams rooms was amazing. And I think one of the things that really kind of opened not just my eyes, but the whole Microsoft team's eyes, was the number of display OEMs, display manufacturers.
In the last year or so, I'm sure if Greg Jeffries is here, he's happy to hear that.
Yes,
the display people. Yeah, it's like displays are suddenly moving up the list of things to consider. It used to be just like, take whatever screen is in the room and attach your things to it. Sorry, room. My Indiana accent, room. Take what's ever in there, attach, and off you go. And Greg's probably sitting there banging his head against the wall. It's like, yeah, but if the screen's too big, if it's too thing, is it mounted? What is it? The width of the table? What kind of table is it? Is it this kind? You need that. What's the lighting? Is it backlit? Is it frontlit? Is it a projector? It's like all those things we never really talked about. But in the last year or so, all these vendors I'd never heard of. There you go. Greg's jumping in. About a year ago, it was just roughly when I met Greg at Barcelona last year. Yeah. And just seeing his LinkedIn posts, it seems like the industry, I guess. I think these displays have always been there, but I think the industry is finally waking up, and those display vendors are going, yeah, there's a big hole in the market that people are just taking whatever trash monitor they put up 9 years ago. It still has an HDMI input.
But that's the thing, right? I mean, when you walk into a meeting room, that's the first thing you see.
It's a pretty key piece to have a nice display on the wall.
It's a bit like a living room with an amazing fireplace. You know, you walk in and you're like, wow, that's crazy. It's like the showpiece across there. And I mean, Greg had an amazing kind of stand with Epson, and and Greg, hi. The stuff that Greg puts out there is the stuff that IT teams don't really think about, right? So when we're selling Teams rooms, normally we speak with the IT guys and they're like, oh yeah, stick a resource account on, we'll connect it with Teams, and hey presto, we're up and running. Nobody thinks about the acoustics, the lighting, the glare, the viewing angle of the screens. And during COVID, it's all come back. We've done a full circle, because back when I used to work a distribution partner, when we used to do AV, we used to think of stuff like that. And when Skype room systems kicked in, it all of a sudden got rid of that element, because it was like, hey, this is all plug and play. It's nice and easy now, right? You don't have to think of anything. Plug it anywhere you want and away you go. And then COVID kicked in, and all of a sudden we're thinking about human behavior, and we're thinking about where, people looking at people's faces and kind of communicating that way. And we've done that 360, where we're now starting to look at furniture. And actually, the thing that I say to customers all the time is, you're creating behaviors inside of meeting room spaces. If you just have a rectangular table with chairs facing each other, you're just going to see the side of someone's face. But the way we've got the guitar pick tables and all these cool concepts that are now coming out, you're forcing those behaviors in the room to get people to look directly at the screen. So some amazing information that Greg has with his white paper. I'll give you a little plug there as well. Do check it out. Definitely something to think about.
Yep, and not to sleep on Harold Steindl with his audio. He does a lot of. I read a bit of his background. Harold, hi. He did the audio for something massive back in his days. I forget exactly what it was. So yeah, we got audio guys, we have video guys, and then you have generalists like me that you don't want me designing your conference rooms. I'll point you to a partner, and they will do the design. I'm happy to help you set it up once it's designed. Help you to guide towards what equipment you might want, but not after the partner says, which one of these three cameras, these are the three cameras we recommend, these are the three whatevers we recommend. I'll help you make that choice.
So Michael, I've got a question for you actually then. So are you one of those guys that when you walk into a meeting room, the first thing that you do is you look at the cameras, mic, speakers, and you're like, ooh, that's placed too high, or that's placed too low?
Oh God, you've never been in the Microsoft office in Tampa? I opened a support case. Because the camera was, I am 6 feet 7 inches tall, 2 meters 1 to those using a proper measuring system. And I don't think this camera, my webcam isn't even, I got to point it up. Let's see, well,
you're too tall for the pan tilt.
Maybe I'll be back here. So I'm 2 meters tall, 6 feet 7. The camera was mounted this much above my head. Wow. Right? So top of the screen. And now you're sitting at seating height. It is the absolute worst eye of God camera placement I've ever seen. And it's in a Microsoft conference room using Microsoft Teams. I opened a support case.
It made you feel as small as I am.
You can't beat me in my height, though, right? I'm like 5'3".
Yeah. So imagine you trying to stand, just trying to touch the camera to like adjust it. You'll have to stand on a chair.
Yep. Health and safety. Yep. I can't do it. I'll drop off.
Yeah. So I very much noticed that. The one also at the Microsoft's in Tampa. Now there isn't an easy way to fix this. The table points towards a window, so the camera is just sitting on the table. Now they could bring a pole down and kind of block the view of the window, or set up a little credenza or something. So you just kind of have to see how the room's laid out and where the screen is. But yeah, that's another one where that one's a little tougher. But yeah, the camera is just sitting on the table, which at least is kind of eye level. It's at least not eye of God. It's a little, and it's not totally up your nose camera either. So yeah, I do. I was walking with Nate Smyer, who lives here in the area. We were walking through downtown St. Petersburg one day, and there was a conference room, and he stopped and looked in to see what they were using. I believe it was a Cisco system, but he's like, wait, what are they using in there? That's a Cisco there. That's a blah blah blah. So yeah, I'm not the only one, and I'm sure most of the people on the watching right now who are Teams Rooms people are, when I go by a conference room, I see what they're doing, if it's good or bad.
Yeah, I'm just in a comment from Lars. Am I the only one that always looks behind the screens? No, I do the same thing. You know, I'm a sucker for cable management. I see some great posts on LinkedIn where there's some really nice cabling that goes on, and it's just a nest of cables. I know something happens to me. I'm like, oh, I can't handle it. Yeah, there's going to be too much interference, or what if accidentally one gets pulled out? I hate that.
Well, I'm about to embarrass myself on cable management. But in my defense, I'm only ever at the location when an event is going on. So you have to be careful. And I never go there during the off hours. But this is a small rack that, let's see, can I not find the picture easily?
Is this at your house or somewhere else?
No, this is nope, I can't find it easily. Oh, here it is. There we go. So let me just share this. And I admit it's embarrassing, and I do intend to fix it. But
this is out there in the wild now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's an eyesore. Things just hanging at different angles.
I
will point out all the cables are labeled, so you can see the little wire wraps, label wraps. And we took down an old Toshiba phone system, and we just this last week installed had you been here 2 weeks ago, the cable modem and router were just hanging. So we got the shelves put in, but I haven't gone in on a time when no one is at the location and taking the time to properly wrap it up and tie it up. And
notice there's a switch hanging by the cable.
This is actually on a screw.
Oh, just one.
Yeah, so it's not. So it is secured, but
there's a PoE adapter that can't be screwed in anywhere because he's just dangling.
Yeah, these are all PoE adapters that go to Ubiquity wireless access points.
Go down. There he is.
Oh, this one.
Yeah, he's just out.
Yeah, just taken out.
Yeah, you could do with some. Maybe tidy that up a little.
Just a little.
Yeah. So I will get this fixed. This is not okay to me, but yeah, looking at the back of a TV screen and seeing what's going on. That's
what was there? You say a PBX was there?
A PBX was there. Wow. It's all been converted to Teams phone, so the PBX got torn out. All the PBX gear was taken out, and that's where that big white area was for me to screw in the racks, the rack. So you're what?
Work in progress.
It is a work in progress. So
about 3 years.
Yeah. There's a subreddit of.
Check out the cable port subreddit if you want a palette cleanser. Yes. I went to a stag do in Thailand. I've been to Thailand before, but their cable management, just wherever you go on the streets, is just insane. I don't think they've ever got to the point where if they have a 20-meter cable that they'd ever shorten it, even if they want to do a
Just
1 meter. They just roll it up, let it hang on the streets. You're just walking down with electrical cable, everything. You can just grab, pull it. It's just a nest. I think they just gave up on cable management a long time ago. I'll probably have a picture somewhere because let me see if I can find one.
See, do what I did. Google Photos, and I typed in the city I was in. That cable mess is in. Also, the cable mess under my desk is not great. I mean, but that's because the cable organizer, the thing that hides the cables, is on the floor now instead of attached. But I'm rewiring some things.
So Bing does. Let me.
Cable management is always a work in progress. I mean, because once it's done, you're like great, and then you never want to touch it again. It's like, oh, this took 4 hours to make it look this nice, and I need to replace one cable.
Oh, can you see? Yeah, share my screen, and then. Yeah, there we go. There's some pictures of similar that. Look at that.
Wow.
Oh, that's definitely not
nice. That's what we're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, that's just walk down the street. There you go.
Wow.
So you just search Bing for like Thailand cabling.
Thailand cable management.
Yeah.
This is what popped up. I mean, if you're ever trying to troubleshoot that, you probably just lay a new cable.
I think that's what happens.
Oh yeah, Bangkok. Yeah.
Yep.
Love it. Right. So how did we dive on to?
I don't know. We're talking about ISE, and we've ended up about cable management. Oh, because then we started talking about. He said all the display vendors, and then I jumped on that. Then we got into displays is important, audio is important, and then does anybody look behind the display?
Yeah.
And then cable. It's the obvious rabbit hole.
Do we talk
big time? Shall we rein it back to ISE?
Sure. What else did you learn at ISE other than displays? And then what can we launch off into another 5 minutes?
The Microsoft stand, it was heaving. And little old me, I'm a short guy, like I said, in real life. So, I'm stuck in everyone's armpits trying to get through people going across there. People were just kind of drawn towards the Microsoft stand, surrounding us with all the OEM partners, with kind of all of their amazing kit across there. And it was an absolute pleasure for me to kind of, do this stuff with Sandia, Q&A with Sandia. Ilya was there as well, some really good sessions there. Right opposite the Jabra stand as well. So Jabra did an announcement as well, right, Michael?
We did. We announced that shipping June 15th is an Android bar, our first Android collaboration bar. Not going to sell Jabra, but if you know our 180-degree camera, now add Android to it, and you can natively host Teams and Zoom meetings on it. How did you think the booth went having no product? Because I did Enterprise Connect in Orlando, and there's a booth with no product, but that was not planned that way. It was just that they just decided to join Enterprise Connect very quickly.
Yeah,
and didn't have time to put hire booth builders and all that. So how do you think it went as a planned no products thing?
Yeah, to be honest, I thought it went really well. I was apprehensive in the beginning, but I think it went really well, because who better to talk about the products than the OEMs, right? They're the experts in the field. They're the guys that create these amazing demos. I'll call out Poly as an example. They always create some really good ones. Yealing, of course. Mm-hmm. Logitech as well had one of the biggest stands out there as well. Crestron. And those guys really had some amazing demos, and it was kind of Microsoft. The Microsoft stand was kind of like that meeting point. Everyone comes to Microsoft, speaks to the Microsoft guys, and say, okay, what's happening, what's new. Here's some questions. We want to talk strategic stuff, and then wherever you look, you're looking at an MTR partner, and it's like, right, I'm going to go check out Lenovo. I'm going to go check out Logitech, and then everyone kind of heads back to the meeting point, grab a coffee, has a chat with the folks on the stand. I thought it went really well. It was an amazing experience. I loved it. And again, for all the viewers that were at ISE and did visit the stand and were there during ISE, thank you so much. You guys are the reason that Teams Rooms is becoming so successful.
Yep, and Lars, I joined Jabra too late to make the cut. So hopefully ISE next year. If not, and those going to Enterprise Connect, I will be there. Let's see. There you go. trick question. You never have enough Panacast 50s in your office. I mean, I've got the wall of Panacast 50s, and somebody at at Jabra even goes, "Man, that's intimidating to see that many boxes." But I mean, it's what I do. So I'm sure if you talk to a Logitech person or a Lenovo person or whomever, they've got stacks of their products as well. So look at Matthew thinks that he agrees at the ISE that the Microsoft booth.
It looked good with the theatre.
It worked. Yeah.
Yeah, and the sessions look good. So yeah, great job.
You know what else works, Mo?
What's that?
Mo Mondays.
What is Mo Mondays?
Mo Mondays.
Martin, did you just ask what is Mo Mondays?
Mo Mondays. Mo Mondays.
Yeah,
Mo
if you haven't checked out Mo Mondays, you absolutely need to check out Mo Mondays, right? So Mo Mondays, the concept came around. There's too much information around Teams rooms everywhere. Sometimes, a lot of us, we're so busy, we just don't have the time to sit through a 45-minute presentation to try and learn about, Teams rooms, all the new features. And a lot of us, kind of turn to blogs, vlogs, YouTube, such as this. And, speaking to Michelle Booman, my manager, and a few of the other guys, Jimmy as well. And I think it was Jimmy, actually. He was like, yeah, Mo Mondays. Oh, Monday sounds really cool, and that's how it was. It was born in the back of a taxi in Barcelona, actually, and we were like, yeah, Mo Monday sounds really good. 5 minutes, bite-sized information around all things Teams rooms. Whether we're talking sales, whether we're talking technical, whether it's a brand new feature that's coming along, a 5-minute dose of Mo with a bit of humor added in as well is what you'll get Monday, 10 a.m. CET or 9 a.m. GMT. Yeah, see, the first I'm gonna kind of put it out there. The first couple of episodes, I was nervous, man. I was nervous as hell. I find it a lot more challenging to try and talk in 5 minutes to yourself and try and get that right than spending an hour or so, speaking with everybody. But that first session, if you haven't watched it, watch it. For that one is really about conversation starters. How do you start that conversation off with your customers, with C-level staff members? And that's sometimes we find a big challenge, right? So how do we start off talking about Teams rooms? Because a lot of customers come up to us saying, hey, we need to kit out our meeting rooms, but they haven't really thought about how do we kit out the meeting rooms. Have we thought about the challenges that we have today? Have we thought about hybrid work or digital transformation? And usually, when we have these sort of conversations, it kind of opens up the eyes of those planners that are designing those meeting rooms to think about, oh, we didn't think about equality in a meeting room. We didn't think about cameras at eye level. And it really sets the scene to really have those rich conversations with customers. So that first episode is about starting those conversations. Second episode will be airing, of course, on Monday, and it should be one of your favorites, Michael. And it's titled "It's Just an Appliance." So
it's just an appliance.
Yes.
Yes and no.
Yes.
It's not a PC. That was always your other phrase, Michael, wasn't it?
Oh, the Teams rooms. It's not a PC. Yes, it's the slide. That was a Nate Smyer thing. He's like, he was getting beat up. It's like, well, it's just a PC we put on the network. It happens to run a conference. It's not a PC. It is an appliance.
Yeah. So yeah, Mo Mondays. Make sure you jump on, like, subscribe.
Yep. And I always forget the AK. It's ak.ms/ I think Teams Rooms Tech Talk.
It is. Yes, Teams Rooms Tech Talk. That's the YouTube channel. You can always just search for Teams Rooms Tech Talk. This is hosted there as well, of course. Yeah, let me know. Let me know what you want to learn about, what you want to hear about. And
AKMS Teams Rooms Tech Talk doesn't work. I thought that was it. Anyway, Teams Rooms Tech Talk on YouTube, and or just follow Mo on LinkedIn, and I also rebroadcast. We'll share the posts, as will Jimmy Vaughn and others. So we need to start over. So we got a nice request. So Mo, who are you? How many kids do you have? Which one's your favorite? Tell me what you think about ISE, and what is Mo Mondays?
Oh, wow. Well, we're 30 minutes in. I've got to do the whole lot again, right? So
yep. So to recap for LinkedIn user.
I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Mo. I'm a PTS, or a partner technology strategist for Teams Rooms. Looking after kind of the EMEA region, everything Teams Rooms, pre-sales, technical, speaking to you wonderful folk and your customers around all things Teams Rooms.
Hey, what can you guys say about Teams 2.0? I think you just said what you're allowed to say about Teams 2.0. I can talk about it because I'm not an MVP or a Microsoft employee, but I won't. But basically, as best I understand, for those looking for the Teams general talk, around March, the long-awaited rewrite of Teams will be released. There's been previews of it essentially on the Teams consumer in Windows 11. And so the full Teams version of that will come out. It is, I think, officially not called Teams 2.0. That's just what internal to Microsoft is called. It's just going to stay the Teams client. But it is going to be moving from Electron to React, I believe, and moving from JavaScript to WebView, Edge WebView 2, which should increase or decrease memory usage by 50%, decrease CPU usage, increase battery life because less memory and CPU usage, and set the stage for a lot of new features that come, such as being able to switch tenants without having to switch tenants. So I think that now you guys can either confirm or deny all that, but that's what I've been reading in the public press. So those of you who have not noticed the Teams 2.0 articles coming out lately, because I don't know if it's a leak or if these agencies have been allowed to say what they're allowed to say, but that's Teams 2.0, and Martin and Mo can't say a thing about it because they are under non-disclosure agreements of what they know, and they may accidentally leak something, so they can either confirm nor deny.
I did read the same public article as you, Michael.
There you go. And what was in that public article was what I just said, but isn't necessarily true. I think you can agree to that. It may not necessarily be true.
I don't know where they got their sources from.
There you go. So what else is on the roadmap? That's a Teams roadmap thing, and for the whole Teams client.
Roadmap.
It's just great getting you guys awkward. Awkward silence.
We did cover what's new last. Let me share my screen. We did do what's new last week. I'm waiting for the new.
Yeah, we did do it. Well, what's new? But there was a whole roadmap.
I did look through the roadmap. There was a few things that. Well, there we go. Yeah, there was a few things that caught my eye. So this was, I think, I selected new from last week. Changed within last week. Yeah.
That's where you go to AK. Did you go to ak.ms/mtr roadmap?
Oh, that takes you to the Teams Rooms one. See, I was just doing Teams all up.
No, we want to talk about the Teams Rooms things. It was mentioned briefly in selling Teams Rooms, but we can dig in a little deeper.
I will go down. Here's one.
There's the big one. Front row layout for Teams Rooms on Android, March 2023. So
these are jumping in the roadmap, and they're like, not long to wait. I think the question's been asked many times, when's this coming? I saw they jump on the roadmap, and yeah, here it is.
Oh, since I was making fun, so hold on, real quick. I'm going to. Well, Flarg, what happened? I'm going to roll back in time before we go into this. Here, let's go back, and this is heading to a front row thing. So let me share screen. This is the conference room at the Microsoft office. There's the camera. Now, if you think that's not very high, again, I'm 6'7" or 2 meters 1, and it is like my whole head above where it's located. So,
is there nowhere else in that room to put that camera?
It's on a stick. Lower the stick. Make a longer stick. Buy another meter of stick.
I like the view out the window.
Oh, you may have to buy a longer cable, which could then lead into a
or is it just is it for the camera to tilt and look out the window?
Why is the camera on that end when the screen is on another side? Is it not visible? Again, cool. So this is, as Mo was saying, side of head camera. This is back of head camera.
Wow.
So these are the pictures I sent to Microsoft support. I don't know what that is. These are the pictures I sent to the AV support saying, hey, don't do that.
It's got ceiling microphones ceiling speakers in there as well.
It looks that way, right?
Now I'm just looking at things in this room.
Yeah. And then it's a lovely view of Tampa Bay. But anyway, the reason we're going here is then front row is just a view, and coming to Teams Rooms. So I was in another conference room the other day. I think I might have a picture of that as well in the same building. And it's one of those, can you see what's wrong? Here we go. What is wrong with this image? So let me present, share screen. This is also, again, in the Microsoft Office in Tampa. Anybody see what's wrong with this screen? Now, this is actually a difficult question because it's not in front row view, but it becomes obvious in front row view. The left and right monitors are flipped.
Switched.
So when you go into front row view, the chat is in the middle, and the raise hand queue is in the middle, and the people on the outside and whatever. So I did have it in front row view. I'm like, these screens are flipped. Now, I could have gone back there and swapped the cables for them, but that's not my job. So yeah, if you think that, now this is done essentially by vendors, not by Microsoft, but somebody signs off on those rooms. So
yeah, but you can. I'm 99% sure you can switch it from software. You can.
Yeah. Hit swap screens inside the thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to front row. That's it. You said front row is the thing. When you do front row, make sure that the chat is on the outside and not in the middle of the screen. If so, swap HDMI cables or tap swap screens to make it correct.
You'll probably get some people actually physically changing the screens around, right?
Moving them over and then plugging the cables in the other way around.
Yep, there's Jeff jumping in because sorry, Greg. I said Jeff. Greg is, I believe, I don't want to necessarily speak for him, a big proponent of a large single screen versus two smaller screens. So there are some compromises. You see fewer people on the bottom on a single screen, but to his point, you can have larger centered content. And looks like Graham may have caught because there's a slight delay, wrong way around on the monitors. So I think Graham caught that. Anyway, front row is coming to Android. Back to the roadmap. Long awaited.
Long awaited. Yeah.
There's two others as well for Android. Meeting join.
Yeah. I mean, we've always said feature parity.
Oh yeah, so go back up to the meeting join. This is one that has been actually kind of been bugging me. It's when you hit the Meet Now button on Android, it's like, who do you want to invite? Versus on Windows, it jumps straight into the meeting, which when you're testing is such a big, let's just get straight into the meeting. Whereas on Android, it's like, okay, let me call Adele Vance. Adele isn't answering right now. I'm like, I know I'm not signed in as Adele anywhere. Just get me into the freaking meeting so I can see if the camera's working or test this audio or whatever I'm trying to test a feature. I'm like, I don't care that Adele isn't there. So I'm a big fan of you jump straight into the meeting now. Meeting ID and passcode looks like it's also coming to Android. I did use that when I was in the Microsoft Office. They have it locked down, so I couldn't use proximity join to join the meeting. It was an external tenant that they blocked, so I couldn't forward the invite to it. So I'm like, how am I going to get this conference room into my meeting? I typed in the meeting ID code and password, and then I was able to get the Microsoft.com account into my Jabra.com meeting. So that was fun. Let's see. On MTRs for Androids, when enabling third-party join via PowerShell, you still have to enable it on the console since it's not a current available feature in the Teams Admin Center or Pro Portal for it to work. I believe that's correct. I haven't touched an Android in a while. I know, ironic, since Jabra's about to get one, but they haven't shipped me one yet. I believe you still have to enable it on the console. You have to do it on Windows, even though you do the PowerShell on Windows. So I'm going to say yes, and let's see if the chat jumps in and can properly verify that. Probably Graham. So anyway, meeting ID and passcode, that's all good. And then enhanced content sharing. This is basically, as best I understand it, audio can now be shared via the HDMI ingest. Yep. So that's a big one. It took a long time for that to come to Windows. But again, Android and Windows, right? Not the same code really in any way. The cloud services part is the same, but the local part is different. So I think this gets into Android drivers and making sure Android drivers are available on Android that can pass this data along. And then once that was added, then wiring up the Android application to take that and send it upstream.
And it says add annotations to share content or view that when a desktop user starts a session, and Teams Premium support for watermark enabled meetings. to safeguard confidential information.
Yeah, that'll be good, definitely.
Yeah, so this is a huge update.
So March. I'm imagining a software update for Android, maybe March time.
Yep.
Yeah. I know a lot of the features are currently available in Tab. So that's usually when it hits Tab, it's not too far off, providing everything goes well and no issues whatsoever. I'm testing a few of these right now.
Yeah, provided there's no blocking bug.
Breakout room participant shuffle. If you ever need to shuffle anyone in breakout rooms, it's coming. New channel experience. I think that was added yesterday or today. Today.
So what is this? New channels experience built with an intuitive design that helps teams focus and act. Wow, marketing got involved. The new channels experience include compose box and recent posts will appear at the top of the page. The compose box at the top of the page now instead of the bottom?
No. So
recent posts will appear at the top of the page. Every post will now have a conversation view and a new right pane with the channel's key information. I think I'm going to have to see that to know what that really means.
I know from when I've seen it, it's kind of the recent posts. I think it says you kind of flip round; they're at the top rather than looking at the bottom and scrolling over there. I'm just double.
I guess that aligns with Outlook, where Outlook, the newest is at the top, and then by default, the newest is at the top, and you work your way down.
Yeah. So start new. Yeah, the compose box, start new post is at the top, and it's oriented top down.
That's gonna mess me up for a week.
I'm looking at that screen, trying to scroll my mouse on the wrong screen. Simplified app update experience. Clear and transparent app update experience. Users only need to approve or update an app, a new version. I'm not sure what that one is. Big one for phone. Change call queue and auto attendant greetings and announcements by authorized users. Oh, Graham's jumped in. If you use the new wizard in TAC to create a meeting room, that can enable external processing. No need for PowerShell.
So it's been added to the wizard.
Recents at the top, and you scroll down rather than up. That's it, Jerry.
Yeah.
So a big one for Teams Phone. You can have authorized users change the call queue and auto attendant greeting.
Yeah, I do use that for the little society I operate. By the way, I will share this as I'm talking about that. So I'm a big fan of the auto attendant call queue, so I don't need to share it necessarily with other people, but that is I can see for larger organizations that is super important.
Yeah, so I think there's been some workarounds and scripts and things that you could use, but yeah, I think that's welcome to have that now in there. I think that
here we go. So this is for the organization. In case we're having a sausage fest on March 4th. Yes, we are. Of course, we are. It's Tampa Bay's worst festival. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area or coming to visit, please visit my sausage fest. Look at all these different sausages that we have on the list. South African sausage. We're Debreciner, Hungarian.
English bangers.
Hey, Mo, you can have some bangers. Mo and Martin, you can have some bangers at the sausage fest.
Any mash?
No mash. No mash. Just bangers.
No mash.
Gravy.
So we're gonna have wiener dogs, like actual wiener dogs. So dachshunds will be running around.
Sausage dog.
Yep, sausage dogs. So, all right, back to business. Sorry, I just had to bring up my organization and advertise my event.
I think that's more or less all the ones that caught my eye, really. We've done the Android. Magnify slide in PowerPoint Live. In view recordings inside LMS. That's the last changed in the last week. Changed within the last month. Anything else? Breakout rooms participants, we've done that.
I'm always thankful for the people who do keep a close eye on the roadmap. Like, I got a feeling some people...
Active speaker in meetings, that was one as well. That's recently been added. That was the start of this month. Enable zooming while viewing.
Nice. Yeah, click on that. What is that? Users can now zoom in and out while viewing a screen share. So if you're sharing your screen, like earlier when I was sharing the screen, you wanted to zoom in maybe on the dangling PoE adapter, you could do that independently on your own.
In Teams, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think that's most of.
Yeah, the video filters in Teams meetings. When is that? Oh, March 2023. That's the thing that lets you, I think, right so far, and if it's NDA, you don't have to answer this. It's just canned things that are in the like lower thirds kind of things that canned, but I haven't seen or heard if I can make my own little lower thirds or not. So if that's NDA, then don't answer yes or no. I would guess because you can do your own backgrounds, but that didn't come day one either. As best I remember, that came slightly later doing backgrounds. So
who's going to miss the ultrasound howling?
I will not.
Yeah, I really like this.
Technically, it's not the ultrasound that howls. Except for maybe your dog.
With my Logi, this is one. With my Logi earbuds, if I put the earbuds together.
Oh, there's a feedback. It creates a feedback loop.
It goes crazy. I was holding it in my hand and I was like, "What is that noise?" and it was my hand. And the two earbuds together, they go crazy.
See, I was reading a internal post about the ultrasound howling and the technology that's behind it. It was some really, really interesting stuff about what the speakers are doing. They emit a certain pitch, and the other
super high range.
And it's crazy the amount of work that goes in just to stop it, right?
Yeah. I don't have an answer for this. I'm just sharing this out for others. Unless one of you two have an answer on the new routing option. Sorry, your English routing option. No agents opted, logged in, pop up at call queues.
No, I didn't. No agent opted, logged. No, I'd have to go check on that.
Yeah, I don't know what that one's all about. So those of you in, I think that was a LinkedIn comment. If you can...
yeah, I guess that's for call queue
on the LinkedIn's.
Nobody opted in. Right, I think explicit recording concerned, simplified navigation. There's looks like March. I mean, going by the GA date of all of these items for Teams, March is going to be busy.
And isn't that when Teams 2.0 is scheduled to come out that you don't know anything about that you're allowed to say?
Which one?
Isn't that a March update? So I wonder if these all get kind of. I mean, some Apple CarPlay maybe more for an iPhone, but a lot of these might be things that are going to go live with Teams 2.0 because it doesn't seem like it would make a lot of sense to continue to code in the old framework for these new features and then rewrite them in a new framework. But, that's just me, a not MVP, not Microsoft employee talking publicly, which you guys aren't allowed to. So
I think that's everything for the roadmap. Yep. Exciting newy ones that caught my eye, I guess. Anything else you?
I think the one that I'm excited about is the new GUI for Teams Rooms.
The new look.
Oh yes, I have seen that. I am NDA on that one because I am in the TAP 100. But if you've seen the Android interface, like it's similar. It's similar. There are some things that are a little different on the Windows one. I don't think I can talk about that necessarily. If there are screenshots, then
there's a public blog on the new vibrant look for Teams.
Yeah, so there's a public screenshot.
Last week, didn't we? Or last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I was using it for a little while, and then I had to reset my MTR, and it went back to the old view, and I'm like, oh, God, that's so uninteresting and not fun. So I am immediately I'm immediately a huge fan of the new layouts for Teams Rooms Windows.
And it definitely brings that feeling of feature parity as well across Android and Windows. And it's more vibrant, more buttons.
Definitely more vibrant
that we need. I like it. I really like it.
Looks like it's just it seeing the new one just psychologically makes me want to touch the buttons. Seeing the old one where it's kind of cold and austere, it's not inviting. It's like, what does this button do? As opposed to, oh, this looks like a mobile app. Boom, I'll just push a button.
Yeah. I think even the most simple thing, having the calendar on the front of room view, that alone sells it to me. I'm like, yep, you walk in a room, you look at a screen, you just want to see what the next meeting is. You want to be looking at a,
but it makes it just internally at Jabra, people are like, what's the difference between Teams Rooms, Windows, and Android? I'm like, oh, users can walk in, it looks the same-ish. Now you can pretty much say it looks the same. So You don't have to go, well, if they're using in walking to Teams Rooms Windows room, you're going to see this black and white display, but the same meet button versus this colorful, vibrant display with calendar and the meet button. So that I think that just makes end user training a lot easier. And I do think the new interface is just more inviting to interact with.
Yeah.
I got to drop.
All right. I think it's time. It's 10:05. Sorry, it's 50 minutes. Thank you, Mo. Mo Mondays.
No Mondays.
Teams Rooms Tech. You're what?
No Mondays on Monday.
On Monday, 9 a.m. GMT.
Yeah. So start your week with Mo
With
Mondays. End it with selling Teams Rooms every Friday, and so with us every other Friday. But yeah, it's Teams Rooms Tech Talk on YouTube. Mo Mondays. He's only got one episode out so far, so 5 minutes. Actually, that one was 7 minutes because he did a 2-minute intro.
I'm getting better. I'm trying to get him down to 5 minutes.
Hey, selling. That's why like we don't have a time limit on here. We try to keep it under an hour, but we've done an hour 20 and we've done 35 minutes. Yeah, selling Teams Rooms selling Teams Rooms did 12 minutes today. So the fastest 10 minutes became the fastest 12 minutes. So when there's a lot of things to talk about, you do it. So thank you, everyone. Goodbye, Mo.
Thanks, Mo. Thanks for joining us.
Goodbye, Martin.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you all.